Hi, Dr. Neelam. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
And as we wait for audience to join, I think we can slowly get started.
Okay.
And to everyone who just joined and joining, I would like to welcome everyone to our latest episode of MSME Masterclass. On today's episode 18, we're going to be delving into the topic of digitization of production efficiency. We're thrilled to have with us Dr. Neelam Balani, the director of Rotomag Motors Controls Pvt Limited, is a visionary who has seemingly integrated advanced technologies and business acumen into the industrial realm. With a PhD in biotechnology and an ongoing executive program at IML, Dr. Balani's expertise is a confluence of science and strategic operations, from pioneering solar pump technologies to steering the production of specialized motors for diverse applications. Her leadership at Rotomag has set benchmarks in innovation and quality. Her adept handling of key overseas accounts and her pivotal role in implementing robust IT and system process have propelled the company into new heights and technology excellence. As we embark on this session, we anticipate Dr. Balani's insights on leveraging digital tools to revolutionize production workflows, quality assurance, and customer satisfaction. A perspective on IT for process reengineering will undoubtedly be a game changer for MSMEs who are looking to elevate their production capabilities. Join us as we explore a transformative power of digital optimization in manufacturing with a leader who's cultivating the future of industrial digitization. Welcome, Dr. Balani.
Thank you very much. That was a very sweet introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So, Ms. Dr. Balani, as we get started on this, can you tell us a little about your background on this space and how it relates to today's topic on digital optimization?
I belong to, as you said, Rotomag Motors and Controls Private Limited. We are a company which was incorporated in 1993. We started out as a company that was manufacturing small special motors called permanent magnet DC motors. And from then, the journey has been we have started adding more and more customized motors to our portfolio. We started working towards expanding our business. Now, in the process of doing that, we realized that it was very important for us, as a company and as a company which was growing, to have very good quality systems to be able to match up to the best in the world. That was something that we always wanted to do, and for that we realized that there were two things that were very important. One was, of course, the ISO certification and the quality standards, and the second was trying to reduce the errors that we do. And for that, we required some kind of automation and internet, the IT capabilities to be improved and introduced in the company. So as we went along, we introduced a lot of little modifications, little improvements in our systems, which helped us to grow as a company. So I think that is where this relevance comes in picture.
A lot of background in this space and the amount of time you spent here. Like I think you've spent over more than 2 decades trying to explore digital optimization. So
Yes.
as we dwell into this, could you talk a little more on the digital optimization in production entails and why is this very crucial for businesses today?
See,
Integrate.
if we look at anywhere on the net, you will hear stories and you will hear forecasts. India is going to be the next manufacturing hub. You see the government saying, make in India. You see people talking about a 6.5% increase in GDP every year and stuff like that. Where is this going to come? This is going to come from the manufacturing industry. Gone are the times when we were only a call center of the world. We are forced to reckon with in case of manufacturing also. And here we have the MSME sector. India has, I think, the biggest MSME in the world. I don't know if they have that categorization all over the world, but that's what I have been told. And these are the people who have the potential to grow, who can do a lot for the country, and who can help. And this growth is not going to come until we give our customers what they want. by giving the customer what they want is you cannot decide on quality. It is the customer who decides what they want, and we have to look and benchmark with the best in the world to be able to grow as a company in our country, and help India grow as a force to reckon with. And that's where I think digitization comes into picture. A lot of things can be digitized, and the decision point can be taken away from the errors come in manufacturing, in production, because we are taking the decision ourselves, and we have this ability to gloss over our errors. So we give this hand over this responsibility to a machine, to IT, and let it do the job for us. And I think we can reduce, and I know that we can reduce a lot of our errors, improve a great deal of our quality by that.
It's pretty critical to, if we want to absolutely decrease the errors and move ahead, making sure businesses can grow collectively. And I believe that it's pretty crucial. But as it's pretty crucial, could you maybe talk about certain aspects or tools or softwares, and additionally anything companies can utilize, like maybe an ERP or a CRM systems, to contribute to optimizing production?
Yeah, ERP and CRM are really the buzzwords nowadays. Everybody seems to be thinking that ERP, CRM, ISO. These are words everybody likes to talk about. See, I'll just give you an example of ISO. ISO certification, everybody wants to get it because they want to hang it on the wall and say, okay, we have a certificate. But what does it mean? It means that you are responsible for the quality that you are offering to your customer. It tells the customer that you have certain standards. It tells the customer that you have certain systems. Okay, and it tells you that these are the systems you have to follow in order to give good quality to the customer. That is what an ISO certificate means. Likewise, when you say you have an ERP, when you say you have a CRM, what are you trying to do? You are integrating all your processes in the company through a single software. You are looking at your processes in every which way, because it's a production or manufacturing is not just business, is not just about making money. It's about making money and growing along with that. So all these tools really help you to grow. When we started, Rotomag had a joint venture with an Italian company called Motive, and we formed a company called Rotomotive. Now, Rotomotive manufactures AC motors. So when AC motors, gearboxes, and a lot of other things, like we make drives for electric vehicles also. So when we started out, our business took off like that. It was, and we needed. The selling model that we had in Rotomag was different from the model we have in Rotomotive. Rotomotive was selling through salespeople, and for us it was a new thing because we did not know how to handle salespeople. We suddenly had so much inventory to handle, and it would have resulted in total chaos. And that's when we decided that we needed an ERP solution. Now, for the ERP solution to work, we needed our processes to be streamlined. So we did all of that. We got the processes in, and we coordinated them with the software, the ERP software, and we were able to grow a lot of the things, a lot of mistakes that we were making. Like, there used to be 8 people, I remember 8 people doing invoicing. We were using this accounting software, and there were 8 people doing that, and that went down to 1 person immediately as soon as. So it was like my workforce was better utilized. The errors in billing were reduced greatly. What we were selling reduced greatly. A lot of things happened. So these kind of software interventions have helped us, and we started off with that, and then we've moved on to a lot more software.
Feels like a necessity, the necessary evil, seeing like, as you talked, right, you had to hire so many sales, so many invoicing so many people to handle so many processes. As you're trying to streamline so many such processes, you have adopted such tools. So it's inspiring to listen, this kind of tools can really help businesses. But could you share some real life examples on how these tools have enhanced efficiency or helped reduce errors? Some real life examples to help the audience see where they can utilize that.
Okay, I'll tell you about two things. So, when we make motors, we have this thing called a testing panel. The testing panel, on that we check certain parameters of the motor and we say, okay, the motor is okay and it is ready to be sent to the customer. Then we have, our production in Rotomotive, giving you an example of Rotomotive because that was a sudden rise in production. So it suddenly, we had so many motors on the shop floor, so many things, this customer, that customer, things were getting packed, things were getting dispatched. In the process, we used to discover a lot of times that the wrong motor used to go to the wrong customer, or the box had the wrong motor inside it. These are very simple errors which happen in everybody's case. There is an invoice for X number of motors and X plus 1 goes to a customer, or X plus 10 goes to a customer, or he sends it back to us. All kinds of crazy things. Second thing that was happening was we used to discover that when a person is testing a motor for a long time, he tends to have this confidence, overconfidence, that I know best about the motor. I say, "Ha, ye chalega," or "This is fine and this works. This is yehi motor. These are the parameters and it's okay." In the process, it used to happen that somewhere a point mistake used to happen or something used to happen, and the motor which was not okay used to go to the customer. So what we started doing was we made it mandatory that all the test panels would get their testing parameters input from ERP. So in ERP, we had an item which was created by the design department. Nobody else had an access to it. And the design department would put in the parameters for testing that particular motor. Those testing parameters would get updated in the panel in real time. So when the motor went in for assembly and it went in for testing, they just had to select the item code and test it. If the panel said yes, it meant it was an okay motor. If the panel said no, no matter how much the person loved to send the motor, he could not, because that motor could not be, we could not book the output of this in ERP because the panel had said no. We inbuilt everything, we interlocked all the systems. And because there was no output in ERP, there was no way we could invoice it in ERP. If it wasn't invoiceable, it wasn't saleable and couldn't go to the customer. So we made this kind, and it really worked, because we reduced our errors considerably because of that. Another thing what used to happen was that thing I told you about, the wrong motor going to the wrong customer. So we introduced barcoding in our systems. So we had a system in which all the motors that were to go to a particular customer against a particular invoice would appear inside that machine, the barcoding machine, and they would scan it and check whether this motor was supposed to go against this invoice and then load it into the truck. So there was no way that the wrong motor could go. We reduced a lot of our errors because of that. These are very simple things that we did. Barcoding is there, you will see everybody talking about barcoding, even DMart has barcoding. But these kind of interventions really help.
Sounds really important, as you mentioned that you created such intricate fail safes to make sure that there is no kind of error, or your failed, maybe there is a product which is not really working and it should never go to customer. And I feel like you've saved so much time and maybe a lot of money in returns if you had to refund if the motor failed, if you were using the manually, if you were transferring those.
Well, no, see, yeah, people talk about, every time you talk about software, people talk about money. Oh, it's going to be a very expensive thing. No, you look at the advantage, you look at the advantages, you look at how many motors are going to return back from the customer, how much of transportation money are you going to pay in sending the wrong motor and getting the wrong motor, the wrong thing back. How much of customer grief you're going to cause, how many customers are going to run away because you're giving them the wrong motor. All that pays, it's a payoff. I mean, it really doesn't work out to be that expensive when you look at the errors that are solved. The amount of inventory you can, reduce, because you exactly know how much is going to be sold, what our forecasts can be, what is going to be sold. There are a lot of things, it really pays off. It's not expensive in that sense. Yes, there is an expense, but
it's more of a, like, I believe you're talking about like a lifetime expense, right? It's more, if you put it, you spend that time in the software money, overall lifetime, you're gains, yeah, expected benefits come together rather than short term, right? Short term, you probably spend
Yes.
more to get the software.
Yes, and then the cost of poor quality is worse than all these costs. Cost of poor quality means you can run down your business, you can have it shut down, and you can be in a bad bad trouble because of that.
That must be very scary. And since you've talked about that kind of challenge, the next kind of question I want to pick up is, now that I think at least I do have some understanding of the kind of tools you have been using to help optimize. What are some common challenges faced during trying to integrate these digital tools, bringing in the implementation of it, and how have you, yeah, how can someone overcome this?
Well, the commonest challenge is IT वाले लोग, in Hindi they say IT वाले लोग कुछ भी ला के देते हैं. That it's the IT people who are just giving some strange software and we are supposed to use it. Why should we use it? Okay. So that is always there. Or, it was easier when I was doing it by paper and pencil, and this is, 3 clicks and 4 clicks. There are silly things like that. They have all kinds of things. But you have to be able to show. See, at some places you have to run the riot act, read the riot act, so to say, and say this is what it's going to be. The second thing is, what you can do is show people the advantages. See, if you involve people in the selection of a software, see, when we got ERP, okay, what happened was, previous to that, we had tried some other software also, and the main people who were against it were the finance people, because they were in love with a certain software. Okay, so what we did was, we involved them. Okay, we showed them every software. We involved them in the selection process, we involved them in the training process, we involved all the bosses in the training process, so that they could not tell their subordinates that what is this nonsense you are doing with this software, get me a paper and pencil and do it. See, it has to be driven from the top, all of it. Every software intervention has to be driven from the top. I'll give you another example. I have this software which we have made an app. We are very big in the solar pumping business. So we supply solar pumps on government projects all over the country. These are agricultural pumps. Now, what the government wants us to do is give them a 5 years warranty on every pump that is installed. Okay, now how do we do this? How do we install our pumps and ensure that the installation is done properly? Because if the installation is done badly, also the pump is not going to work. And if it is not going to work, I have to, 5 years I have to tolerate that, keep on giving replacements for the pump. That's the cost to me. So we developed an app in which, some 4 or 5 photographs which are there of the various installation stages are taken by the customer, by the person who's doing the installation. Installations are not done by us; they're done by our partners. So that is done. Then when the pump starts, we have an app which beams us data from the pump, saying that okay, the pump is running, it started at this time, it is giving you so much of an output and all of that. Now when we did this also, our installer said, we are not educated people, and we are like, we drive tractors and we don't know anything, and itna English nahi aata hai. Okay. So my simple answer to them was, okay, give us a user manual. I said, please tell me who gave you a user manual for WhatsApp and who gave you a user manual for Facebook. Did anybody? But you all are using it, right? So, then we had to train them, of course. We had to handhold them. But we had to also run the riot act and tell them, ye nahi karoge, to we will not give you the payment for that. So there is always going to be an objection. There's always going to be an objection to change. There's always going to be people who hate you for that. But you have to look at the good interest of the company and make it simple for them to accept it. And show them what they can achieve by it. So that should work. That works.
I believe that's a huge undertaking in itself, trying to convince so many people to make such change. I think it's a lot of inertia you deal with.
Yeah, and it helps. It helps. Okay, what helped me was, I am on the top. Okay, and I can see a view of the processes that the others can't see probably. So I know what goes where and how, and I can, from the top, I can see the connections better than somebody else can. So if I had asked only my IT team to do this, they probably would not have been able to see those connections and do it. they probably would not have had um, the authority probably, or imaginary authority also, ki I don't think I can say this, so and so will feel bad. So that is there, that has been an advantage to me, but yes, it does involve a lot of work.
That does sound like a lot of work to be involved, but I think that comes with the benefit of having the bird eye view of all the complete visibility on the whole processes, every interconnection which goes.
That's
And since you have such access, I mean, such understanding or visibility on uh, the whole picture, how do you measure the success of these initiatives you take?
See, the
Very
easiest way to measure it is to look at what has been the turnover of the company and what it has increased to. So, but that's again not not one thing, is it's not dependent on one thing. I cannot say okay, the turnover was, what was it? If in the we implemented ERP, I have my figures here. 2011 we implemented it. The group turnover was 67 crores, and at present it is 500 plus crores, and last year it was. So I mean, that is a very weird way of, because you are giving full credit to just two software in the company, which is not true, which is not correct. But I think you can measure it you can see the difference. I have really never measured in terms of ROI and stuff like that, which people do. But I see the difference. I see the number of motors which are coming back. I see the motors wrong supplies. I see how fast people are working. I see how many fewer complaints we receive. Those are my measures, and I think we have done well in that, because, and we keep innovating. Okay, we just keep on thinking of ways in which to digitize. We never stop at it. So we I have a list of 20 more things to do now.
I think that sounds pretty fun and challenging. And as such, you mentioned innovation. Is there, just aside from the digitization on tools, because of all of this access of infrastructure that you have built out, is there anything like, recent innovations you were able to make into your process? Yeah, your products that, you believe are genuinely brought a change for the best?
Oh, well, you could say, our development processes are more streamlined. We have, okay, we have, see, what happens is, if I don't know where to pinpoint any such, but I could kind of say that if we have a way of monitoring our pumps, okay, we know exactly how good or bad or ugly the performance is, and we can keep on improving on the performance by just having that data with us. So that it has helped. I don't know where else could I say. I could say that buying a software, like we have something called PDM, product data management software. Now, product data management software is required because we have so many designs. We have, in Rotomotive, we have 50,000 SKUs, 50,000 items, 50,000 products. That means 50,000 drawings, and they are component drawings, and it's like a lot of data. So we had to get data management software, because otherwise everything was lying around like this on somebody's computer, this one's computer, that one's computer, in multiple folders and files, and we had to get that, and that has helped us in doing our developments faster. I mean, I cannot say that okay, this development is because of some software, but yeah, I could say that quality of work has improved.
Makes sense. I think the quality of work is really important. Since we're on the topic of digitization, what do you believe, as you've explored the IT space of the digital tools to help businesses grow? What do you believe are like the future trends in digital optimization should business be aware of? And as the generation currently is all the rage about AI, maybe do you believe there are any future trends with optimization, maybe with AI or without it?
Yes, AI and all. We hear a lot of buzzwords. Okay, we hear IoT all the time. We hear AI all the time. I believe that there are some software which are using AI in some way. For example, the CRM people are talking about, instead of saying, looking at a graph and saying this versus that, you say, what were my sales last month? type it and it will come to you with a nice beautiful graph and stuff like that. I believe that is being done. IoT to a large extent is being done. A lot of people are doing that. I have seen some interesting examples of it. For example, there was this company which was saying that when they have their machines installed and they have their service engineer who goes there to repair it, he has these special glasses that he wears and he can look at the fault and he can get automatically link to the office, back office, and they will tell him, this is the problem, do this, do that, do that. So that kind of a thing is there. IoT is big thing. And I don't know what else are the trends or what else, but suddenly something comes out of the woodwork and you say, oh, this is what is it. But yeah.
It's a fascinating world out there right now with so many tools. There's so many things which can just make our life a little more easier. Eventually, do make it completely easier. That's what we hope. So, as we are coming to great understanding of the tools, and thank you, Miss Balani. There's one question from my end before we enter like a Q&A section from the audience. If anybody has any questions, they can drop it here in the chat. What advice would you give to MSMEs or businesses who are just starting out their journey towards digital optimization?
Well, the advice would be to never be afraid of investigating a new possibility. When we started out, I was telling you the other day that we started out, we were a small company who used to do these drawings on these drawing boards, okay, draft board or something it was called. And then we decided that we were going to get 5 computers, and we were told by why do you want computers? Kya karna hai? Why do you want a software? It can be drawn by hand. Or when we brought in a new software in the company, we got a advanced designing tool. At that time, it was thought that this is too much of an investment we are making. It's not necessary. But it is necessary. It is necessary, and initially it might seem like too much of an expense. Of course, you cannot go and start buying, like 1 crore ka investment for software and all of that. You have to take baby steps towards it, but buy a software, buy IT, introduce digitization only because you want to improve something, or along with your improvement bring in digitization. Also, I often see people who say, this industry is not like mine. I am a motor manufacturing company. Why should I listen to something that Big Basket is talking about or something? There is a learning in every industry. There is a learning in every business. So keep looking out, keep watching. Because the other day I had something I had bought, some perfume I bought, and the packing in that was really beautiful. The packing was paper packing with a bubble paper instead of the plastic bubble sheets that we have. So immediately I gave it to my purchase guy and said, just find out. Now that has nothing to do with me. That business has nothing to do with me. But you have a learning there. They are doing something different. Let's find out. Can it be used to me? You look at DMart. You look at the little earrings also they'll scan. You say you introduce barcoding in your company and they'll tell you itna sara kaam karna padega. But then you tell them, DMart person is doing that for every little earring. How are they doing that? Don't they have work? So there is a learning everywhere. So keep learning, keep investigating, and try to improve. And try to benchmark against the best. Never be happy with what you have achieved. If you are happy with what you have achieved, you are done. You're never going to improve. So that has been always the thing that Rotomag has believed in. We never are happy with whatever we did.
That feels like a fair judgment to make, to maybe take the risk, explore the world, to see what the best we can get and to integrate into our systems. There's so much more to explore, and I believe from our audience also, our advice, take Miss Dr. Neelam Balani's advice on absolutely exploring it, taking the risk, try it out, then maybe make a judgment. And I think that wraps up the questions I have. And thank you for your time. And actually, I think as we started, we have a question from one of our audience called Anand Fairwani. What software brands modules were used for ERP and PDM? I guess he wants to know what ERP or PDM tools that you used.
Okay, which ones I have used? Is it okay to speak out names? I have used Microsoft Dynamics ERP and CRM. I have PDM is from SolidWorks.
SolidWorks.
Those are very good software, and I like very strongly recommend. I'm sure Microsoft is going to listen. They're very good. They're nice, very user friendly. So.
I mean, they're like the best out there in the space. So any little compliment is a great compliment to them. So I think as we get, I think we got 2 more questions. Okay, Anand says thank you. So we got a first question from Himanshu Sharma. What are the first steps an MSME should take when beginning their journey toward digital transformation?
That really depends on the industry. If you are a motor manufacturing industry like me, start with, improving your processes, your manufacturing processes, getting some software for your designing, things like that. Start with baby steps in there. If selling is your primary, like if you're a trading company, or if you are buying something and your selling is the bigger focus for you, maybe you could get a CRM. But and it's not necessary to go to Microsoft. There are lots and lots of software around which are cheaper than Microsoft, and which will suit. You have to look at what suits best for your business. There is no one size fits all.
Thank you. Then we got a next question. How does digital optimization cater to customer experience enhancement for MSMEs? We got this question from Ms. Neha.
Customer enhancement. I'll tell you how we have done that in Rotomag is we have this thing called a customer portal, which we have gotten made from our implementation partners for our ERP. So what happens there is, for example, my customer can see what are his pending orders, what has been shipped, what are the credit notes he has got, what are the payments which are due for him. Okay, those are the things. So for him, that is very important. Those are the things you can help. They help in customer enhancement. At the same time, we have also, done things like when I receive an order, I send an automatic email goes to the customer saying, okay, we've got your order. This is going to be the date, promised delivery date on which we are going to send the shipment. If there is a change in this, we'll let you know. So, the customer knows the order has been received, it is being processed, and things. So these little things, they really help a customer.
I hope that kind of answers Neha's question. We got a next question from Mr. Somesh Gupta. Hi, ma'am. Was there a lot of research involved while selecting a suitable software, and how can we find the right one for our business?
Yes. It's a big job. Okay, so I'll tell you my story of the software selection in very short. I was with another software for a long time, meaning 2 years or so. And then we decided, no, this is not working for us. We need something else. So it took me, I put the software requirement on a portal there was an ERP portal or something. There was some portal I found. And I said, okay, I'm looking for a software. And as soon as I wrote that, the next day I started getting mails from every software seller in the world, including Oracle and SAP and whoever, everybody. And so what I did, that time I was alone and my team was consisting of one person. So I had written down my requirements, my processes. I had made a case that this is what happens. This is how we do our work. This is how we make our order. These are the kind of stuff that we have. And we ran that through. I ran that through each of the software. I said, okay, show me how this works through. This is a person A, he's gone, this is my customer B, this is his discount level, etc., whatever. And we ran it through. It took me about, I'll tell you, it started with a good 4 or 5 months to get a proper software. Yeah.
That's a lot of time and research spent, making sure you get the best.
Yes, because otherwise, and I realize that every software person will show you a nice dashboard and you will get taken in by the dashboard, because anything beautiful is like, wow, it looks good. And then you realize that the software is not what you wanted. So it's very important to have your processes jotted down. You say, this is what I usually do. How does this run through your software?
Like, as company to company, you can't always have standardized processes that you can use a single plug and play software.
Right. Absolutely. You can't, and plug and play doesn't work in the world. Everybody has a different way of working. Even if I see my industry, if I am there, some other companies there, they'll have a different way of working. I mean, I can't say, oh, that person's software that works there, so it will work for me. It won't.
Understandable. So I think as questions are coming, I think we got one last question from Mr. Siddesh. What are the cyber security considerations that MSME should keep in mind when looking to optimize digitally?
A lot of them. So I have a person who looks after my network. See, I am not, as you know from my qualifications, I am not in any way and trained in IT or computers. Whatever I know has been only by reading. So when I have to, when I need somebody to look at my network, I have a specialist who looks at my network, who looks at everything that is happening, what is coming in. He keeps closely monitoring that. We need to closely monitor because it's very easy to get ransomware. Very, very easy. And very often what happens is it clings to software which are pirated. So as a rule, as a ground rule in my company, I have made it absolutely mandatory to get licenses for everything. Anybody caught without a license, you get personally hanged by me, because I really will not allow. Because why do we want to scrounge on little bits of money when somebody company will they'll file a lawsuit against you? First of all, that is different. Then you can have some virus latching on to some strange thing some strange site from which you might have tried to free download, and unnecessarily. So that is very important. So first thing, no pirated software. Second thing, have somebody who looks after your network very, very closely. And you need a team, and you need to lay down rules about what is allowed and what is not allowed in the company. For example, no family photographs on the computers, no WhatsApp on the computers, no certain sites we block, because we know those are the sites which are generating a lot of spam and a lot of all these kind of viruses and things. Because once you have a virus attack, it's like hell. I've gone through that also. I've personally sat up till all night and scanned all the computers in the company till 3 in the night. I've done that. So after that we learned our lesson. That was the hard way. So we lost our database once. The entire database. Somebody clicked delete on it. So we had to manage backups. We had to ensure that there are backups, to ensure that things don't go wrong. Things happen, you learn by mistakes, but not every mistake is going to be a learning. Sometimes, it will be a big loss. So it's better to be very careful.
That's an extremely important lesson, like, especially when it comes to softwares and security. If you don't have the right security, you made blunders as such. You don't want to learn the hard way by losing all your data, getting corrupted, someone hacking into your accounts. You don't want that when you're building out such a huge expanse of business and scaling up. Thus, yes, cyber security is a really, really important backbone you need to have when you're trying to grow digitally. It's very important. Yes, ma'am. So as we come to the end of the session with the questions, Dr. Neelam Balani, really thank you for your time. Thank you everybody who has joined this session. I hope that whatever you have learned today, you can execute in your business, use it, and make the best out of your time. We believe such learnings and insights can be valuable and can bring your business to a bigger scale. And I really hope to see all of you again in the next episode of Masterclass.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Dr. Balani. I hope to meet you again soon, and I wish you a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for your audience too. Good afternoon.